Hey everyone, sorry, I just got punched in the face. I overheard people talking about bad video game names and everything, so all I did was walk up to them and say, touch, then got sucker punched. Don't know why. That's the name of a DS game. It's a dictionary app. Guess I learned that apparently you can't just walk up to people and say touch to them. Who would have knew? Hey everyone, how's it going? Total Level here, as it's Wednesday, which means it's time for another obscurely underrated games video. So if this is your first time watching this series, basically I pick and choose 5 games for a certain system that I find are very underrated, with some also being quite obscure, right? As I love kind of my weird obscure games, so I thought this would be really fun to do and getting a lot of great feedback, so again, thank you for this. And today we're looking at the DS, so Nintendo DS, really love the system. I do like the 3DS a bit more, just because the DS did a lot of experimentation, right? You know, dual screen, so a lot of games use touch controls only, which, you know, not the biggest fan of, but there's still a lot of fun games that utilize that. And yeah, it's still a really great system. I love collecting for it because while you got your expensive games, there's a lot of great ones you can buy for very cheap, under $20 still, right? So really love it for that. As yeah, as always, trying to pick 5 games that are a bit different from each other, different genres, so that everyone has something to choose from, right? So let's begin. As today, my first game is one that I don't have physically right now. I actually just ordered it. It's a game I played a long time ago, so yeah, it'll come in the mail probably sometime this week or early next week. But yeah, I love my music rhythm games, and the DS and 3DS had a good number of them. Kind of made sense, right? Touchscreen, it's pretty cool to do rhythm games for those systems, right? As game I really love, and I think it was a pretty early one on the 3DS DS library, and it is Elite Beat Agents. This is just a weird, quirky game, but a lot of fun. As yeah, if you like pop punk music from like the 90s and early 2000s, well, this game has it for you, because there's Sum 41, Avril Lavigne, Good Charlotte, to name a few. Now, these are old covers and everything, but they're still sung pretty good, and it's funny because I think a few of them are sung by Jamie Page, I believe, which people who watch Pokemon would know, like, he sung the original theme. I believe that's who it was, right? I could be wrong about that, but anyways, just a super fun rhythm game now. Trying to emulate rhythm games on PC and everything, not the greatest idea, because yeah, it's like one capture gameplay rates, but it is very difficult to play these games on the computer, and you know, using the mouse as the stylus, right? But so yeah, I definitely sucked playing this on the computer, but yeah, Elite Beat Agents, it's super fun, super weird, and one that's been kind of forgotten over time. And yeah, I think it's one that if you really enjoy music rhythm games, it's a really cool one to pick up. The next game we have here is one of my favorite Pokemon games ever, and one of the weirdest crossover games ever, which is saying something considering, you know, there's Kingdom Hearts and Smash Brothers and everything. But yeah, really cool game is Pokemon Conquest. So this is a turn-based tactical style RPG that crosses over Pokemon and Newborn Onga's Ambition. Man, I hope I'm saying that right. But yeah, just a crossover I would never imagine in a million years, but is really cool. You know, just you're partnering up with different Pokemon, and as you kind of do these battles and everything, you're links with each other kind of grow, and that's how your Pokemon get more and more powerful. Now, it's not the perfect kind of turn-based RPG, you know, tactic style. There are definitely better ones with, and more in-depth ones with, you know, your Final Fantasy Tactics, Fire Emblem, Shining Force, things like that, but it's still really cool, and yeah, I would love to see this game, you know, come back, or this kind of series, or just a different type of Pokemon game to have this turn-based tactical style, because it makes a lot of sense, you know. Pokemon is all about your rock, paper, scissors kind of combat, and that's what all these tactical RPGs are about, right? Is kind of analyzing your environment, right? And kind of picking and choosing where to go and who to attack with and who, right? And yeah, just cool. Now, a few things too is like there's not a whole lot of Pokemon in this, plus every Pokemon can only learn one move versus 4 moves, which is a bit disappointing, but overall, Pokemon Conquest is just such a cool experiment, right? And yeah, one that I love to death. Now we have a puzzle game I want to talk about, and one that's pretty cheap to buy too, and I know Jay of Square Pegs will approve of this for sure. It is Henry Hatsworth and the Puzzling Adventure. Really quirky game, as is a combination of platformer, action combat, and puzzle game, because as you're going through these levels, platforming and things like that, you're also beating up enemies, and as you defeat enemies, they get kind of transformed into these blocks underneath, in which you have to kind of rotate and mix and mash to get a line of 3 of the same colors, right? If you played something like Tetris Attack, I think it's called, on like Super Nintendo or something, this kind of concept with how you're rotating the blocks will be pretty familiar to you, but yeah, it's just really interesting game. Now, it does get quite difficult at the end. That's one thing I will say that's, you know, bit might put some people off or whatever, but honestly, especially with how cheap you can get this game, I highly recommend. Henry Hatsworth is a really great puzzle game, one of the best puzzle games of the DS, you know, and that's saying something considering there's the Professor Layton games, right? But this game is fantastic. Didn't think I would praise an EA game like this. Feel like the world has turned upside down. Next, we have one of my favorite Dragon Quest games ever, and it's not even part of the mainline series, it's a spin-off. I love this game to death. It is basically Dragon Quest meets Zelda with tank battles, as it is Dragon Quest Heroes Rocket Slime. Now, I am bummed that we only got this one in the series, because in Japan, it's part of the Slime kind of sub-series, where they got 3 games. They got one on the Game Boy Advance, and another one on the 3DS, so this is actually the second game of the, you know, Slime series, but man, it is so fun and addictive. I love it to death. I play it all the time. You know, it's one of those games I'd love to revisit and play, because it's just a nice, cozy, colorful, fun game, not too difficult or anything. It's easy to pick up and play, and these tank battles are just phenomenal. They're so fun and addictive to play. They're my favorite parts of the game, and yeah, I can't praise this game enough, because yeah, it's one of those just very important games for me, because I remember, like, back in the day, I was kind of debating on getting this game or the remake of Final Fantasy III on DS, and I chose this one, and man, am I glad that I chose Dragon Quest Heroes Rocket Slime, because it is a fine take on, you know, Dragon Quest Zelda type adventure, because you're rescuing your, you know, slime buddies from like the platypus people and things like that. It's just it's charming. It is such a charming adventure game. And then the final game I have here, which is very cheap, you can get this game probably for under $10, like for sure under 20, and it's one that surprised me. It is Alice in Wonderland, so I was pleasantly surprised by this game now. One thing is it does use touchscreen controls like constantly, and every now and then you have to hold a button on the you know, like an A button or whatever, because you get these power-ups to reverse or fast forward time, and it's Alice in Wonderland kind of Metroidvania adventure, right? Is really cool, and you know, one day before Halloween, it's a great game for Halloween, right? It has that cool, just atmosphere. I love the art in this game. Like, it's just, there's something about it that's really appealing, and yeah, I can't believe how much fun I had with this game, because it's supposed to be inspired by, you know, the Tim Burton movie, but it doesn't really have much to do with that, right? You're kind of guiding Alice throughout, right? And yeah, just a really awesome, yeah, kind of adventure game. And yeah, I'm surprised by how much I really like this. If you like Metroidvania games, and if you don't mind touch controls on the DS and everything, I highly recommend, you know, checking out Alice in Wonderland, especially with how cheap it is. It's a really cool game. And so, I hope you enjoyed this iteration of obscurely underrated games. As always, let me know in the comments down below what obscure and underrated DS games you would recommend to me and others to check out, because yeah, I love hearing all your thoughts, and yeah, I love checking out these types of games, right? Especially if they're cheap enough. I know I picked a few here that are bit more expensive with the Dragon Quest and the Pokemon Conquest, but the other three are pretty cheap to find still, right? But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Next week, I'm going to go back and cover a modern system. I'm not too sure what I'll do. I might cover Game Pass games, or I might go back to the Switch. We'll see how I kind of feel, right? But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Always appreciate it, and I'll see you next time, everyone. Thanks. Have a great rest of your day. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to like, leave a comment, and subscribe to see more. Hit the notification bell to be notified of any upcoming videos. Also, follow me on Twitter at TotalLevelYT, along with Twitch, also at TotalLevelYT. Or maybe you only stayed for any skits I put in my video. In that case, please stay anyways. I'm so lonely. Alright, take care and have a great rest of your day, everyone.